There is a kind of exhaustion that wears a beautiful face in public and collapses in private. If that sentence already pulls you forward, stay with me. You have carried so much for so long that even silence has started to sound heavy. You have tried strategies, books, morning rituals, late-night pep talks, and still the weight remains. What if the answer you crave is not another technique, but a single shift in understanding that rearranges your inner world? What if the moment you meet the part of you that never wanted to be strong is the moment the old story ends? You did not become the reliable one by accident. The mantle was woven thread by thread. Perhaps you were 7, perhaps you were 15, when the quiet knowledge settled in. No one is coming. The adults were there in body, but far away in heart, fluent in a language you could not speak. You stepped into the role of steady ground because the floor under everyone else kept moving. It looked like maturity. It felt like necessity. From that day forward, vulnerability felt expensive. Asking for help felt pointless. Tears turned into a private dialect no one around you seemed to understand. So you studied the weather of other people's moods, learned to manage storms before they formed, and wore competence like armor. Over time, the armor fused to the skin and began to pass for skin. You were praised for your poise, your calm, your capacity. The world learned to lean on you. Somewhere along the way, you forgot there was a person under the armor, a pulse beneath the performance. Your mind kept organizing the calendar, smoothing the edges, making sure everyone else landed safely. Your body, however, started telling the truth. Fatigue that sleep could not touch, a hum of vigilance under the ribcage, a heart that could not exhale even in an empty room. If you ever tried to relax, a voice inside warned that loosening your grip would make everything fall apart. You learned to live near the edge of collapse without falling, which is its own kind of falling. It is natural to resist this fragility. We chase strength precisely because we fear breaking, yet what we flee tends to follow. The more you refuse to fall, the more you are haunted by the sense you might. The energy spent holding the drawbridge up is the energy that could be healing you, but lowering it feels like annihilation, because the last time you needed, no one answered. So relationships repeated the old folklore. You found projects instead of partners, emergencies instead of friendships, dramas that required your steadiness rather than your softness. None of this was conscious. Deep down, the psyche kept recreating the original scene, hoping for a different ending. If you could just give enough, fix enough, love enough, perhaps this time the door would open and the child waiting in the hallway would finally be invited inside. Here is the turn. Generosity born from fear erodes you. Help given to outrun abandonment is not help, it is bargaining. When usefulness becomes the price of admission to love, your worth shrinks to your output. Realizing this can feel like stage, like snapping on to reveal a set you have been performing on for years. It leaves you blinking, raw, stunned by how lonely it is to be adored for your function and invisible for your being. There is another way. The old self made of rescuing and overperforming is not the same as the true self that breathes beneath it. The work ahead is often called individuation, allowing the false structure to soften so the essential can step forward. The frightening question rises first. Who am I if I'm not the one who holds everything together? Panic may answer. Let it speak. A version of you is dying, yes, but only the one you built to survive. This path requires meeting the shadow you tucked away to stay acceptable. not a monster, just a storage room full of banned feelings, rage that nobody noticed, grief for a childhood spent on duty, exhaustion that feels older than your bones, resentment toward those who assumed your strength was endless. Opening that door will not ruin you. It will reroute the river you have been damming for years. At first the water runs muddy, then slowly it clears. There will likely be a break. Not a dramatic failure, but a human one. A day when your chest caves and tears come hard, the kind you have edited out for decades. Treat this as an arrival, not a collapse. Something in you finally trusts you enough to be seen. Let yourself say the sentence you have been holding. I have carried too much for too long, alone. It is not weakness to admit the truth. It is the first honest architecture you have built for yourself. From here, repair begins. Not by rewriting the past, but by offering to yourself what you needed back then and could not get. Become the steady presence you were missing. Speak to yourself with the patience you would give a small child who is brave and tired. Respect your limits like they are sacred. Rest and call it work when rest is the work. Set boundaries and do not apologize for the space they create. Responsibility is not about taking the blame for what happened. It is about choosing what you will make of it now. Forgiveness belongs here too, but not as a moral performance. Think of it as releasing energy that has been knotted up in bitterness so it can return to you. You do not have to declare anything acceptable. You can simply decide that the past will no longer occupy premium space in your soul. That decision is a reclamation, not a pardon. Before we go further, notice the questions that quietly pull at you. What if you stopped performing usefulness for one entire day? Would you still be chosen? What if you asked for help before the catastrophe arrived? Would the sky stay up? What if your worth had nothing to do with the number of fires you put out? Let these questions work on you like gentle rain on hard soil. You do not need to answer them out loud. Let your life experiment with them in small, brave ways. Try the unfamiliar sentence that cares for you as much as it cares for others. When guilt arrives dressed as responsibility, look closely at its seams. Is this a duty or a habit? When urgency pounds on the door, ask who benefits from your sprint. When you feel the automatic yes rushing forward, give it a chair and ask it to wait. Curiosity is your lantern here. You are not interrogating yourself. You are meeting yourself. You are collecting data about how you learn to survive. And if a part of you argues that softness will make you weak, test it. Bring a sliver of tenderness to one ordinary hour and watch what happens. The people who love you will still love you. The ground will hold. Strength that includes softness is not smaller, it is larger, like a river that widens and deepens as it nears the sea. Keep asking, what would be kind right now to the person I am becoming? Progress will spiral. You will feel whole on a Tuesday and unmade by a stray comment on Thursday. Patterns will tug at your sleeve, the urge to overgive, to manage someone else's feelings, to be useful at the cost of your own needs. Every time you notice, you win back a sliver of freedom. Pause, breathe. Ask, what do I actually need right now? What choice honors me? These small questions are doorways. Walk through enough of them and you find yourself in a larger room. Aloneness changes shape as you heal. It stops being punishment and becomes chosen solitude. You begin to enjoy your own company without rushing to fill the quiet. You learn to sit in a room with yourself and not reach for distraction as proof you exist. This is a profound sign. Busyness loosens its grip. Silence starts to feel like nourishment rather than threat. In that quiet, you might notice a faint calm, not the absence of problems, but the presence of yourself. Relationships will reorganize around this new center. Some will protest your boundaries, some will miss the version of you who solved everything. Their reactions reveal which bonds were built with you and which were built with your function. Let endings be endings. Grief is cleaner than self-betrayal. As space opens, different people arrive. Those who want an equal, not a savior. Those who bring their own steadiness and meet yours. Receiving is its own apprenticeship. If you have lived on the giving end, taking in care feels exposed. Start small. Accept a compliment without editing it. Let someone carry a corner of the weight. Allow support without paying for it immediately with overcompensation. Each time you receive, you are teaching your nervous system a new lesson. It is safe to need, safe to soften, safe to be human. There is a moment many describe, a quiet afternoon, a hand wrapped around a warm cup, and a breath that finally lands. The world is not fixed. You are not suddenly unbreakable. But there is a grounded peace that does not depend on the chaos around you. That calm is the signal that you have touched the deeper center, the self that exists beneath roles, beyond histories. From that place, the past shrinks to its true size. The people who could not love you the way you needed become human again, limited, shaped by their own unfinished stories. Nothing about this guarantees a simple life. Hard days still arrive. The difference is the anchor inside you. You can feel without drowning. You can be vulnerable without shattering. You can receive without disappearing. Strength stops meaning, I don't fall. It starts meaning, I know how to rise and I know how to rest. The courage to let the wall crumble and let the river move through you becomes the new definition of power. As you walk, the word strength continues to change. It is no longer the iron grip that keeps you isolated. It is rooted and flexible, like a tree that does not snap in wind. You bend, you spring back. You do not prove yourself as much as you inhabit yourself. One day, you will look over your shoulder with quiet awe, not because everything is perfect, but because you no longer leave yourself to manage everyone else's storm. Here is the truth. Your life has been circling. You do not have to be strong to be loved, and you do not have to be perfect to be worthy. You are allowed your full humanity, messy, bright, flawed, tender. The love you have searched for is not an external prize. It grows when you turn toward yourself with consent and kindness. Beginning again is not failure. It is fidelity to your becoming. If doubt returns, greet it. Old fears will visit. Let them pass through and keep your seat. You now have the capacity to stay with yourself in the dark and speak in a voice you recognize. I see you. I'm here. We are not abandoning us. That voice becomes a bridge you can walk across when the ground feels unsteady. The relationship you cultivate with yourself shapes every other bond. When you offer yourself compassion and patience, you bring those qualities to others without erasing your own edges. You stop giving to earn love and start giving because you are overflowing. Your connections feel lighter, cleaner, reciprocal. You no longer audition. You relate. This is not a fairy tale ending. It is a living practice. The work is made of daily choices, small acts of honesty, tiny permissions to rest, to ask, to say no, to say yes. You become the person you might have been if the early landscape had been kinder, not by pretending the past was gentle, but by letting its harshness turn you into someone exquisitely compassionate. And when you falter, because humans do, the path remains. You can always return to the breath the body, the boundary, the question that tells the truth. You can always begin again without punishment. Every loop of the spiral carries a little more wisdom and a little more ease. If you have read this far, something in these words is already at work in you. Perhaps your eyes sting. Perhaps you feel anger waking or weariness that wants to lay down its armor. Let everything belong. You are not behind. You are not late. You are exactly where you are, and that is where the next step lives. Listen closely. You became strong because you had to. You will become whole because you choose to. The old pattern kept you safe. The new pattern will keep you true. Today can be the day you loosen your grip on the roll and reach for the hand of the person underneath it. She is not a project. She is not a performance. She is you. Keep the promise to yourself that you will not leave again. Let the river move. Let the drawbridge lower. Let the quiet be a place you can live, not just pass through. When the world calls for the old performance, you are allowed to answer differently. You can say, I still care, and I choose myself too. You can say, help would be good. You can say no, and when you do, watch how the ground responds. It does not split, it holds. The people who can meet you step closer. The ones who needed your mask drift kindly to their rightful distance. Your life grows spacious. You grow rooted. The child inside unclenches near the light. This is how healing looks from the inside. Not loud, not quick, but true. Let this be your beginning. Not a promise to be unbreakable, but a practice of being intact. Not an oath to carry it all, but a vow to carry yourself well. Not a demand to never fall, but a willingness to rise again with wisdom gathered from the fall. You were never meant to be a fortress. You were meant to be a living thing. So here we are at the quiet threshold. If the question still whispers, who am I without the weight? Answer it by walking. Step by step, breath by breath, choice by choice, you will meet the one who was waiting beneath the mantle of competence. She will not ask you to prove anything. She will ask you to stay, and staying at last will feel like home.